Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to explore the future of campgrounds in Sanford, the current status of campgrounds in our area. I'm going to give you an inside look at a report that the city has done in order to update the 20-year-old comprehensive plan for the city and what this report might mean for the future of Sanford. Let's get after it. If you're new to this channel, my name is Michael Patterson. My wife and I are trying to build a campground on 113 acres of land in Sanford, Maine. We checked with the town before we tried to get permission to build the campground, and we're dealing with a lot of opposition. But if you want to learn about what that's like to work through, the approval process, and how to go about trying to get a campground approved in Maine, click subscribe and tap the bell so that you'll be the first to know when we post another video. In Sanford's old comprehensive plan from 2005, it says, quote, based on the data in the 2000 census, we are losing our middle class population and are in danger of becoming a community of lower income, less educated residents. Good paying manufacturing jobs are being replaced by lower paying jobs. This trend has ominous consequences for the community if it continues. The status quo will not alter this trend. Changing this pattern will require that the entire community, the municipal government, the school system, the business community, and the community's leaders and residents undertake a comprehensive effort to change the direction of Sanford Springville. It goes on to say that this will require bold leadership and a new vision for the community. It will require taking risks and investing in the community. It will require that we change the way we think about our community and how we do things and invest our resources. It goes on to say, quote, college-educated residents have been moving out of Sanford Springville to other communities, end quote. And it also says that, quote, the share of lower income households living in Sanford Springville continues to increase. This trend will have significant consequences for the community if it continues, end quote. So let's talk about how to bring disposable income into our community so that we can improve it. You might think bringing businesses like high tech will help a local community because it means more jobs. But as a prior high-tech company owner in Sanford with over 50 employees at the time before I moved to Kennebunk and grew to almost 80 employees, I can share with you that the owners of companies want reliable, trustworthy employees, and we don't care if they are from Sanford, Wells, Acton, Lebanon, or wherever. You should know that the employees who came to Sanford to work at my company did not spend much money in Sanford. Most of them even packed a lunch. So bringing certain types of jobs to Sanford is not going to help our local economy. So what would you do to help bring money into Sanford's local businesses? To answer that question, let's take a look at the town of Wells that abuts Sanford. Some of you might dismiss this comparison because they are a seacoast town, and seacoast towns have an unfair advantage over inland towns. But hold on, plenty of towns like Bethel, Maine, and North Conway, New Hampshire have vibrant local economies and cultures, and they are not on the seacoast. So how come they are able to figure out how to bring money into their community? Well, did you know that Wells, Maine has 13 campgrounds? This is more than twice the amount of any other town in southern Maine. And did you know that the average camping family spends over $200 per day in the local community outside the campground? If you add up all of the campsites across the 13 campgrounds in Wells, Maine, you come up with about 2,000 campsites. At $200 from each family per day, that is about $400,000 a day being spent in the local communities across all 2,000 sites. Now, I'm not sure all that money gets spent in Wells, but most of it probably does. The camping season is about 6 months in southern Maine. Only about 2.5 months sees about 100% occupancy in most campgrounds. Let's just assume for a moment that 100% occupancy for 90 days across all 13 campgrounds in Wells. And let's dismiss the income from the other 3 months that campgrounds are open. Okay, so $400,000 a day times 90 days is $36 million every camping season being spent locally in Wells outside the campground. Let me ask you something. Do you think an additional $30 million being spent at local Sanford businesses would have a positive impact on our community? Of course it would. Currently, Sanford has 2 campgrounds, Apache and Yellowstone. This is roughly a total of 300 campsites, which using the same math means about $5 million is being spent every year in the local community of Sanford from these 2 campgrounds. Now let me ask you something. What other businesses can a town attract that will bring this much disposable income to the local community? Please share your thoughts down below. My wife Bonnie and I are volunteers on the Sanford Comprehensive Plan Committee. This organization is updating the outdated 2005 Comprehensive Plan that pointed out that Sanford has an economic problem. During these meetings, about 25 people in the Sanford community discuss how we might be able to improve our town, and we want your input. This is your opportunity to have an impact. If you share your ideas below, we will bring them to the committee in an effort to help ensure that the updated comprehensive plan is a reliable guide to steer Sanford toward a stronger economic future. The City of Sanford recently hired an independent consulting group to do a study on our city to find out what is working and what could be done to improve the City of Sanford's economic status. I'd like to share with you some highlights from that study. Notice that the report recommends explore opportunities for entertainment, recreation districts, and major redevelopment. Hey, if you're finding this video informative, please give it a like. I know it's small, but it really helps us a lot. Thanks, guys. In the Promote Business Activity and Active Recreation Economy section of the report, it states, quote, other Maine communities like those leveraging the Maine Outdoor Recreation Economy Roadmap have successfully grown their economies by promoting outdoor recreation and related businesses, end quote. The report goes on to say that, quote, Sanford should promote its local businesses, farms, trails, and outdoor opportunities as part of a broader rebranding initiative focused on recreation, end quote. And then it continues with, quote, Sanford can attract visitors looking for outdoor experiences, fostering longer stays and increasing local spending, end quote. Clearly, campgrounds lead to stronger stays in a local community. My neighbors have been staunchly opposing our campground approval effort. And by the way, we checked with the city prior to purchasing the land to make sure our campground was allowed. After hearing about our campground dreams, the neighbors then formed an association with the goal of stopping our campground. They claimed that a local campground will hurt the pond, create sound and light pollution, that we will attract low-income people to the area that will lead to increased crime, and that campers will throw litter on their property. This is not true with most campgrounds, and probably it doesn't surprise you that most of the opposition that owns property on the pond doesn't even live in Sanford or on the pond for most of the year. The addresses of the opposition includes Cambridge, Mass., Bronx, New York, Lebanon, Maine, Venice, Florida, Miami, Florida, Saugus, Mass., Brunswick, Maine, Wells, Maine, Rancho Palos, California, York, Maine, Calabash, North Carolina, and Kennebunk, Maine. For most of the year, these owners aren't even in Sanford. Do you think they really have the best interest of the future of Sanford in mind with their opposition? Yet they show up at city meetings and oppose what will benefit our community. Let me share with you a bit more insight on this. I was born at Goodall Hospital here in Sanford, and I've lived on Sand Pond in Sanford for over 20 years. This is my 200 feet of shoreline on the pond, and this is how the opposing neighbors treat their shoreline along Sand Pond. They destroy the shoreline with illegal deforestation that causes erosion. Some of them are adding sand and leaving a general mess all year round. This behavior destroys the local habitat for insects, rodents, and small animals, as well as it puts stress on the ecology of the pond. They leave excessively bright lights on at night that introduce light pollution. They have generators that run that create noise pollution year round. And remember, most of them aren't even in Sanford for most of the year. These same neighbors trespass on our property, they damage our fence, and throw trash on our property as well. Well-run campgrounds do not put up with these behaviors. Campers who do what our neighbors are doing to us are asked to leave the park. Let me ask you a second time. If Sanford had as many campsites as wells, do you think that the same $36 million per year would have a significant impact on Sanford businesses and the future of our city? I'm talking about restaurants like the Third Alarm Diner, Paris Pizza, Mills Raspberry Patch, El Mexicano, Rosa's Deli, Pilot's Cove Cafe, Shane's of Maine Ice Cream, Richie's Jerk and Barbecue, Smitty's Cinema, Hannah's Tavern, and Franny's Mini Donuts. Then, of course, there are businesses like Pine Hollow Little Par 3 Golf Course, the Sanford Country Club, Sanford Mainers Baseball Park, McDougall Orchards, Levine's and Rivard Strawberry Picking, Southern Maine Aviation, Shaw's Ridge Farm Mini Golf, Bowl-O-Rama, and the absolutely amazing Sanford Performing Arts Center. These businesses in Sanford will benefit tremendously from more campgrounds and more recreation in Sanford. Let's not let a few non-residents spoil our collective goal of improving the future of our city, which is what our new comprehensive plan is trying to do for us by embracing outdoor recreation. I'd like to thank those who have supported us in our campground journey to bring more outdoor recreation to Sanford. We really appreciate your comments as we continue to push for campground approval. If you'd like to learn more about what we're going through to try and get a campground approved, watch this next video.